Hello and welcome. And on the title, that's I think what the name of current situation is, not what we're going into. For I think we're here. And why do I want to call it a Great Depression? What's so great about it? Or greater? What's so greater about it? And of course, I'm referring to the 1930s and greater than. And what was so great about the 1930s one? It's of course just the name that was given. So if I were to give a name, I think the shitty depression would be just a little bit more accurate. In fact, if you want to go for a shit in town, well, what are you going to do? Yeah, I guess maybe we need to bring diapers with us. Is that the way the world works? After all, bathrooms, we don't need them in public. Oh no, it's just the way the current times we have. Well, you could say it's just depressing times, and on stores, you're seeing a lot of stores that are just shut down. Just you see the little the wood boards over stores, and they ain't reopening. And I even think we're going to go through a lot of ones that are trying to reopen that are just not going to go all that successful of stakes as we move into this, as we're moving in, and we are into it right now. I think it is a live situation of the inflationary measures of time. So that's how I'm looking at things today. Just everything that is played on in 2020, it's like 2022 when the shitty depression of what's going on. There's, I believe, we see a lot of the whole George Floyd protest things going on, Black Lives Matters, so on and so forth. And this might be part of it, but the left wing versus right wing, and I think it's going to be escalating mostly, largely in the vaccine realm, is going to be another depressing situation as we move into the near term, like this, really into the later part of this year to the next year. I'm even hearing things like, maybe like they're having a hard time with vaccines because the vaccine's dying or just not doing as well, or the C-19 is not faring as well, even though the curve is flattening on mortality. And I'm not going to bring it up, but what happened was it went up like this, and then it started going down, and then it's flattening like that. So not really, but sort of best example, meaning it's just been steadily the same. And it's been, there are low numbers to begin with anyway, when you consider how many people die of other causes. And as I look at it, if there was a large care for the well-being of everything, then I believe there are larger issues and better issues in attacking the situation. And of course, in the way it was done, this is what I think is going to make this depression even shittier than I thought it was going to be. And of course, that is the situation of the lockdown. That's going to create a lot of poverty. And then, of course, you add in the mental state, like just that conscious feeling of being, oh, am I too close to that person? Is that the type of world that is suitable for the human species? And if it is, would that be a depressing one? And I'm just going to leave it at that, because to me, I think the answer for most part, at least for the last question of yes or no, is pretty obvious to what it is. And it also sees that they're going to flip of a switch. They can just put out, anything can be put out to the stage, and then actions of the way people are to be reacting can just be changed just like that. So we have entered that stage of the Great Depression, but it's not too great, it's pretty shitty, which is why I'm calling it that. So this Bitcoin chart, what's going to happen with these metals, with the metals and the Bitcoin and the currencies moving forward, because we got the different stages. The first early one, the scare of the pandemic, just be totally scared of everyone. Just stay by yourself, the whole isolation. A lot of people call that fear-mongering. I'm not going to say I am or I'm not, but I know other people do. And I got my own opinion on that. And then, of course, we're seeing these rallies that are taking place now. And it seems as if this whole like need to social distance is fading. And again, the numbers for mortalities just haven't been overly that high. And is it worth that risk to have the level of poverty that is going to take place? And on the larger scale, it's still going to be very interesting moving into the later part of this year, into the early next, and into next year, period. As we talk about like the large different businesses affected, all the sports industries, all the like the Disney World style places, the hotels. There are so many lines of business, and then we got Foot Lockers that are going to be like they might be out of business coming. Let's just take a look at their chart. Probably not looking too good. And I haven't looked, and it's probably bad. I'm just going to guess it is. Well, on the daily time frame, it's got a nice little recovery up to this level of resistance, but down to 18. I'm surprised it's rallying as well as it is. But hey, you know what, though? That's what it's doing. Weekly chart, a bunch of lower highs and lower lows forming. It's a big, big, big level of previous longer-term level of support that occurred in 2017 and last year. So if we see rejection from this low level to high level, failing 61.8% Fibonacci, then you can see that as a fail move. We're already seeing that, if you will. Even, I mean, you can look at Fibonacci from this high to this low, but for what it's worth, it's almost this high to this low. I mean, it could very easily on a lower high still get up higher, but this is not really what I'd want to do, is just talk about market analysis, other than the fact it's pretty obvious that we are in a shitty depression. And you know, even still when they talk about it's like doctors shutting down their businesses, it's hard to see doctors, and that is very, very interesting. And where doctors were not accepting patients coming in yet. And then there's also places where you need to get like a lot of people have to go to get medicines. And I used to be in the past, and I kind of wish that I still was, because that's going to be another issue for myself even then when it comes to the whole drug and doctor issues. But one of the ones where you have to go in to get like injections and such, different nurse cares. It's definitely changed this world, and I'm definitely not thinking for the better. And I do see, and we haven't even really gotten really much into this on the world level, where we talk about that of gold and silver in a situation of a panic for people wanting to get out of fiat currency and in something else. And one of the easy supply and demand measures of note that is, to me, relatively obvious, and I'm going to go through a few of them to get it through, I think. One is the supply of fiat currency is just continuously going way, way higher with everything that's going on. That's like the obvious one that people talk about for so long. So there's one. But on the tangible level, you're going to have a situation in which, again, people looking to get out of that and getting into gold and silver. Thus, you're going to, and this is going to be more so for cryptocurrency, but mostly definitely gold and silver as well. In fact, that's the one people in the community were talking about over 10 years ago of occurring, where people would be accepting gold, silver, and now cryptocurrencies as payment, which in turn means the demand for the want to accept such goes down. And sometimes it's a forced issue because the demand to want to spend those go up. And for me on the internet, I mean, I see it totally in play. There's so many situations where if I can do my payment in a cryptocurrency, then it's a very easy situation for me to make the buy and make the business and make the commerce trade. Whereas if I need to use fiat currency, it won't be done. So, and the real world is, okay, I want to buy this product off you, and I'm offering you this of Bitcoin or gold or whichever one you have you, but not that of fiat currency, and of that which is just skyrocketing in prices for everything because its value is getting diminished pretty much on a week by week or month by month level. And because of a business, it's like, okay, if this person's not going to buy my ABC product or service, and because of the fact that I'm not accepting gold, silver, or the Bitcoin, I guess maybe it might be a good idea if I want to sell what I want to sell that I do so. And then, of course, that affects that situation. So the supply in which people hold fiat currencies in quantity go down, because then there's going to be lots of people, and there already are people saying who are doing it well today, and more people who can based on their inventory, which of course myself being one, only use that of gold, silver, and cryptos as their everyday money. Thus, the supply for their fiat currency can go down. And if you take any type of, say, stock that or cryptocurrency that goes down like 99% of its value, something that's trading like just pennies, micro pennies to where it was before. Something that maybe like 20 Satoshi to buy in crypto land. That means people are owning like tens and hundreds of thousands, like it's easy to, because it is easy to buy at those numbers. But when those prices were thousands and tens of thousands of Satoshi, people were buying and owning less because more people own those coins. Same sort of deal. You can get a situation where less people really own fiat currency. Those days can come in across, and in such that means the value of them will obviously be continuing to go down. And a lot of scary measures, of course. Unexpected black swan. I mean, I guess you could say it's not a black swan event if they don't happen, but unexpected, and it maybe even serious, but unexpected events to occur. And if you understand what the expected events might be, or I think are unexpected, great, but it's expected that it's going to occur. It ain't going to be, oh, it's just going to be like easy ride. There's just going to be no tricks along the thing, or, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is going on. And then you're going to have these people on the left that are saying, oh, it's a conspiracy because of this. And they'll bring up good points, and they even might do say stuff like, well, scientifically, the laws of physics state this can't happen. And they'll use science and such, and science, I mean, math. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.